Okay, so this objective is to find out how to rotate an object around something that's not the center. See, normally if this were the center or the origin, this is my rule, right? We're going to rotate 90 degrees around the origin. That's usually an O, not a 0 for the origin. And the rule, our mapping rule, which you think you guys all know, is your XY coordinate really turns into be like, we want it to be perpendicular, we want it to be 90-degree change, and so we're thinking of opposite reciprocals. So that's when you just flip it and then you change that first sign. So we're going to flip these two and then change the first sign. So that's our mapping rule if it were around the origin. But what happens if we make a rotation point somewhere that's not at the center of everything, right? In this particular point, our center is at 2, 1, right? That's we're going to rotate everything around that. Now 90 degrees, we know it's going to come over here somewhere, right? But where? Well, it's actually not that difficult to figure out. Some students have showed me. I have got a complicated way of doing it. We're going to try to do 3 methods within this video, okay? The first method that I was shown by a student, actually, was to map A to the center, which is really 1 right and 2 down, right? So that would be, for A, we would translate it, put a little down here, 1 right and 2 down. This is just so I can remember what happens, right, for A. So 1 right, 2 down. Now keep your pencil there. Oh, I just broke mine. And flip your paper 90 degrees sideways, okay? And then go the same direction that you just said. 1 right and 2 down. 1 right and 2 down. Boom. Okay? And that is going to be where my new A is going to be, my new A prime. Notice, also if you want to think about slope, this slope from here to here would be down 2 over 1, right? And perpendicular to a slope that is down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, right? Perpendicular to that, you flip it, right? And you do the opposite, so opposite reciprocal. So really, it will have a slope of 1/2. So you can take this and give it a slope of 1/2, right? Up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, but go the other direction, and it looks like this, down 1 over 2. Boom. So these two slopes, this line and this line here, are perpendicular. Right? So that's kind of the idea. But it's a turn the paper method. I'm going to go back to what I did before. Right 1, down 2, flip your paper, right 1, down 2. Pretty simple. And you just repeat that step with all of them. Okay, I'm going to go to B. I'm just going to make my notes over here with B. B, it's going to be a transformation to straight down 1, 2, 3. So that's 0 left or right, and then down 3. And I'm just doing it again so my brain keeps track of what I did. So down 3, turn your paper, down 3, 1, 2, 3. Boom. There's my B. And again, you can use your slope for that too. It's just straight down. So you want to go straight down this way, and that's 90 degrees, right? That makes complete sense, right? And let's go to C finally and see what happens with C. C looks like it's 1 to the right and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, right? So C, I'm going to translate that 1 to the right and 5 down. So you put your pencil right on the spot, turn your paper, 1 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Okay, and that's your new C. If you want to connect up your shape, you can certainly do that. And shade that in. And there's where your new shape is going to be after 90-degree rotation. Okay? So this is a turn the paper method if you want to think about that, right? So you translate down to your center, translate pre-image to center, turn paper, what did we do? We kept our pencil on there with pencil on the center. Then repeat translation from the center to the image. All right. So that's the description of how to do a simple rotation 90 degrees around something that's not the object. Over 1, down 2, turn the paper, over 1, down 2. Repeat for all of those steps. Okay, now another just incredible way of doing things. So method number 2, we're going to do the same thing down here, except for this point, the center point that's here. It's the same place that was up there above. But what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that this is really the new axis. This is our origin now. Right? So that's going to be our new origin, and we're simply going to ignore all of those labels of the axis we're not going to use anymore. We're not going to use that axis anymore. That axis is now gone. It's lost to me from this point, right? So now from here we can label our points A, B, C. A is from this point here, it looks like it's -1 up 2. From our new origin. Remember, this is gone to us right now. We have forgotten all about that. So left 1 up 2. B is simply over 0 and up 3, right? You can probably see how these are related to what we did earlier before, as far as the distance to this spot. We went right 1 over, or right 1 down 2, and that point is really left 1 up 2, right? And this we went down 3, well now it's up 3. And this one before was right 1 down 5. And if you look at what the point is for C this time, it's -1 up 5. So just relating it to what we did up above, it's very similar to what we did. But these are my new points according to this origin. Now, I think we all know 90 degrees rotation about the origin. We simply take x, y, right? And we turn it into -y, x, right? So our new A, we flip it and we change. So to -1, change the first one. B, flip it, 3, 0 this time, and change the first one. And then C, flip it, and change the first one. All right, and so these are going to be my new points. There's no turning the paper. This is just simply using what we know about a 90-degree rotation. So now we go over here to our new center, and we just do it. -2, -1. -3, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then -5, -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1. Connect them up. Okay, so there is method number 2, and I think you can see by the looks of this that it did end up in the exact same place as the previous one up above. Okay, if you wanted to then list what the points are, you'll need to bring this axis back into play and call this 0, -2, right? And so then you can rename these. If it asks you what are the new coordinates, then you go back to the existing axes there. Okay, so those are 2 methods. Pardon me. And I said there's a third method. Now this third method is going to be a little bit more consuming as far as your time goes, but it all kind of still makes sense. All right, so this first method, or this third method, we're going to call this method number 3. Notice this is a different orientation here. The center has now moved -1, down 1 from this orientation. And so the very, very, very first thing that we want to do is we want to pretend that we're at the center. So instead of drawing my axis here like we did the last time, we're going to pretend everything is movable So instead of moving the background axes to the left one and down here to make this the new axis, we're going to take the above shape and origin and we're going to slide it to the right one and up one. Okay, so, and I'm going to make note of everything that I do down here. So the real A, it looks like it's at 1, 0, right? The real B is at 1, 1. Oops, 1, 1. The real C is at 4, 1. Okay, making sense? Okay, now we're going to translate this because we want to move everything to the center. Okay, move everything to the center because I know what to do once it's here. This is my home, right? Once I get home, again, rotation of 90 degrees about the origin, the mapping rule is negative yx, right? So when I'm home, I know what to do. So let's go home, right 1 and up 1. Okay, so we're basically taking this shape and we're going to go right 1, up 1. There, there, and where is that spot? There. Okay, so this shape has now just been moved, right 1, up 1, and my center has also been moved. You agree with that? Okay, so what are those new points? We just add 1 to all of those things. So my A prime would be 2, 1. My B prime is going to be 2, 2. 2, 2. And my C prime is going to be 5, 2, 5, 2. So A prime, B prime, C prime. All right. Now we've moved it to the center. Now let's do our rotation of 90 degrees. Right? So we do that, a double prime this time. Let's apply the 90 degree rule. Flip those two, change the sign on the first one. Flip those two, that's 2, 2, they're the same, right? Change the sign of the first one. Flip those two, change the sign of the first one. So there will be, now we're going to rotate at 90 degrees. Everything that's in quadrant 1 is going to move into quadrant number 2. And let's just go ahead and plot a 90 degree turn this way. All right, ready? Perpendicular to this and the same distance away from the center. So this looks like it's over 2, up 2. That's for B. A is over 2, up 1. Look what happens with A. Over 1, up 2. So this becomes my A, double prime, B, negative 2, 2, B, double prime, and then C, negative 2, 5. 3, 4, ooh, I'm off the map, 5. Okay, so I've taken this now. All right, now remember at the very beginning of our process, we moved everything over, we slid it to the right and up 1. Well, let's move everything back and down 1 to back to where we were before. So this whole thing is going to go left 1, down 1 this time. Left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1. So this is going to be my final resting spot right here. And that is going to be my answer. Okay? And so to show that, we basically reversed the first translation because we moved everything to my home base. This is where I feel comfortable, right? Well, since we moved home, now we got to move back away from home again. So we're going to translate negative 1, negative 1. Translating back, a triple prime this time. We're going to translate, we're going to subtract 1. So negative 2, 1. Should be that my spot, negative 2, 1. That's my A. Boop. Okay. Now my B triple prime. Back 1, down 1, negative 3, 1. And then C prime is going to be negative 3, 4. Let's see if that matched up. Negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bingo. All right. So now there are 3 methods shown in this video. One of them is just simply, let's just count over and down 2, flip our page. count over 1 and down 2. That will work every time if you can flip your page, right? You can also kind of think of it as slope, and you're kind of doing the opposite of that. The second method is we're just kind of creating a whole nother set of axes and then using our 90-degree rule. Some people find that one more simple than everything else. Just recall, if it wants to know what are the new points going to be, you're going to have to go back to your original to recall those. And then the third method, which some people really enjoy because it's very systematic and step-by-step, is translating everything. Step 1 was translating everything back to the center, right? Step 2 was rotating this thing, right? So step 2 was rotating it, okay? And then step 3 was translating it right back where it was supposed to go. Okay, so translating it back was also step 3. So step 1, step 2, rotation, step 3. Translate, rotate, translate again.